White people do not hate black people, but white people is tired of the degenerate behavior that is coming out of the black community. They're tired of all the whining and crying coming from the black community, and they're tired of black people not doing anything about their own issues. And I know black people are going to say, well, take your ass to a sundown town. But have you been to y'all neighborhoods lately? Those are sundown towns. And the point that I'm trying to make is that your everyday white person that is in your local supermarket, they are not sitting there thinking about what can I do to make this black person's life worse. The fact is, black people seems to have a problem with this top 1%, the people at the top. And quite frankly, white people have a problem with these people as well. And I think white people just know that black people are more than capable of being productive members of society, and they can see outside looking in that we're choosing not to do better. We're choosing to be a part of the system. And quite frankly, white people have been trying to tell black people for years that the Democratic Party is not for them, but black people with their heads up their own asses will not listen, and they just call them racist. White people and black people built this country together, and I think it's about time we start having some respect for each other.
Black people sold black people, white people just paid for it. My great-great-grandmother was sold by her father to another black man, who then sold her to who became her husband and had kids. Not a white person in sight. Well, so while people are being stuck on, especially when I hear this dumbass thing as reparations for slavery, I'm like, dude, slavery was everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
There was slavery in the Arab world, in the Persian world, in the Greek world, in Europe. White, blonde, blue-eyed Polish people were slaves to Germans. White, blonde, blue-eyed Germans. So what are you talking about? Like slavery is something that only black... You guys play too much respect to racism.
Yeah.
If we were all white or we were all black, we're still going to discriminate against each other.
You know what we discriminate against? Eye color.
Thank you very much.
It's human nature.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
We'll find something, oh, your ear is too big. I tell people, as long as you're a competition, you're a threat. And as long as you're a threat, somebody will try to do something to remove you. It doesn't matter if you're white or black. And on the opposite side, as long as you can add value, doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white, you will be appreciated or recognized.
What do you guys not understand about my post? You're really arguing in my post. White people are not the problem in America. White people are not black people's problem in America. The problem for black people in America is the black community holding you back from any type of way to succeed in America is your own community. And it's not everybody, but let's be for real. And I don't want to sit there and act like I'm attacking only black American mothers. It's the fathers too. Oh, it's the seed poppers. The seed poppers who every few years you go and live with a single black mother of 5 and you give her a 6th. You live with a single black mother of 6 and you give her a 7th. And you stay around for a couple years and you play daddy to all her kids until the real conversation comes up of, I need you to do more around here. I need help with these kids. And then the guy says, those ain't my kids. I got one kid. I'll take him back to school shopping. I'll take my kid back to school shopping, but I ain't doing that. Them your kids. And then once it's, oh, these are my kids. Yep, them your kids. He go out, he get kicked out. He leave because the situation is he got to be too responsible for the woman's kids. And so he leave. And then he go right on to another baby mama, pop her full of one, and be like, oh, you know, same thing. They do this until they in their 40s and 50s. And they're like, ain't no good women out here trying to act like they don't have no kids. It's easy for a black American man to act like he don't have no kids because he don't got to carry that baby bump. He doesn't have to carry that baby bump. But let me be real with you. Black American men are just as much the culprit as black American women when it comes to producing too many kids. Because a lot of these black American men will live with a single mother because he knows if she's a single mother, she gonna have a fridge full of food and she gonna have an apartment that the government gave her. And that's one thing he knows, and that's enough for him. Meals and a place to sleep. And that's all these black American men be looking for. And then as soon as he get a problem where she asks him, can you work a little harder? Could you get you a job? Can you do something to help with the household? He go with, the only baby that's mine is that one right there. I'll take them back to school shopping, but I ain't taking everybody back to school shopping. You know what I'm saying? It's
And nor should he. Nor should he. The problem with him and the problem with a lot of people, a lot of guys that then get into relationships with single mothers is that they are not paying attention to the package that come along with it. You are basically getting a package deal, especially if you are deciding to impregnate her and give her another child. You have now tied yourself to that woman for the rest of your life, especially considering that she is already tied to a bunch of other people through the children that she had with them, which is one of the reasons why I tell y'all that it is a very tumultuous situation. Listen, if you can't manage a woman that is single without any kids, what makes you think that you can get into a relationship with a woman with already having multiple kids from multiple different dudes? This is the dilemma that we facing as a community. And she is not saying anything wrong. She is basically laying out and breaking down the dynamics of why the black community is broken. And she's not telling any lies. It's not anything that she said. Because, I know a lot of guys will get mad. Oh my God, it's not all black guys. I know it's not all black guys, and that's why I'm not offended. Like you can't diss me with something that's not true about me. You know what I'm saying? So when she's holding the community accountable, which I hold the community accountable, I am an equal accountability smoke giver for both guys that are dusty and women that are dusty, then it's the truth. And you can't avoid it because our community has a ton of single mothers, and our community is holding on to dudes that continue to spread their seed amongst these single mothers because they didn't get pregnant by themselves. Even if the majority of guys are not having children out of wedlock, when we talk about the overall culture of the community, it is true.
I really do not understand where this is actually coming from, but for me, hearing from black folks saying that white people are not the problem, is that true? I want to know from you. Let me know in the comment section. First, hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time you're tuning in, do what, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. This is just for educational purposes, not to come here and bash anyone. Actually, when I saw this particular video, I said, no, let me bring it down to you people so that I will understand, because black folks are coming out to say white people are not the problem. I have never said white people are the major problem that the black folks are having, right? But hearing from their reasons, I really do not know where they are coming from. But anyways, since they are the one that is in the US and they're experiencing it and they're using their mouth to say, I want to hear from you in the comment section if what they're actually saying is correct or it is not correct. But I'll first of all go up and roll out the remaining clips that I have for you guys, and I'll be back with commentaries. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have, and this is just for educational people. So let's just watch the remaining clips and I'll be back.
America could have had nice things. Universal health care. Possible. Affordable college. Absolutely. A strong middle class. Should have been a given. But instead, this country chose racism over progress. And now everyone's paying for it. Because every time America had a chance to build something that benefited everybody, the thought of black people having access to it was apparently too much to handle. Instead of progress, we got a country that actively made life harder for itself, just to keep black people down. Universal health care. Not if black people get it too. Back in the 1940s, America had a chance to create a universal healthcare system. Other countries did it, but the US? Nah. Now, you may be asking yourself, why? Because universal healthcare meant that black people could go to the same hospitals as white people and potentially get treated like an actual human being. And they just couldn't have that. Southern politicians outright said that they wouldn't support it if it meant desegregation. Instead of universal healthcare, we got employer-based insurance. And that left millions of people uninsured, and we all know a hospital bill can bankrupt you. And now, even white people in states that fought so hard against universal health care, they're struggling just to afford insulin. Rural hospitals are shutting down because states are refusing federal funding. Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy. But hey, at least they didn't have to share a waiting room, right? Affordable college, though. Let's talk about that. Once upon a time, public colleges were affordable. California's public universities, they were basically free. Tuition in other states? So cheap, you could pay for it with a summer job. Can you imagine? And then the civil rights movement happened. More black students gained access to higher education. And instead of just letting people go to school, states started slashing education budgets. Public universities raised tuition. Federal aid shifted from grants to loans. And suddenly higher education became a debt trap. And now, Americans are over $1.7 trillion in student debt. An entire generation is financially crippled for simply getting an education. And even jobs that require degrees don't pay enough to cover the costs. America was so determined to keep black students out, they ended up locking everyone into lifelong debt instead. Now, homeownership. You know what builds generational wealth? Owning a home. After World War II, the government gave white families access to cheap home loans, setting them up for success. Black families locked out of those programs, thanks to redlining and racist lending processes. And when black people did buy homes, white flight drained resources from those neighborhoods. So if we fast forward to today, the housing market is a literal nightmare. Wages haven't kept up with home prices. Millennials and Gen Z can barely afford rent, let alone buy a property. America's fear of black home ownership helped create a market where now nobody can afford a house. Now let's talk about strong unions. Back in the day, unions were powerful. They fought for better wages, job security, and benefits. And black workers, they were leading some of the biggest labor movements. What did corporations and politicians do? They went to war with the unions. Reagan set the tone by firing striking air traffic controllers in 1981. Companies spent decades breaking unions, outsourcing jobs, and replacing full-time work with gig jobs. Right-to-work laws made organizing harder, and now most workers were left with stagnant wages and no protection. America didn't want to give black workers bargaining power, so they weakened unions across the board and made everyone suffer. This country could have had universal health care. It could have had free college. It could have had a strong working class and affordable housing. But every time America had the choice between progress and keeping black people out, it picked the latter. And now, instead of just screwing over black people, the entire system is broken. They deny black people health care. Now the whole country's drowning in medical debt. They locked black students out of college. Now everyone is shackled with student loans. They stopped black home ownership. Now the housing market is a disaster. They fought black-led unions. Now wages are stagnant for everyone. America wanted to keep black people down so badly, it dragged itself down with us. And the wildest part is that people are still out here pretending to be surprised.
I'm so sick and tired of hearing about privilege. Privilege isn't being white, bonehead. Privilege is living in government housing and calling people oppressors while they pay your bills. Get it? I'm done pretending that any of this bull makes sense. You want to talk about privilege? You want to talk about real privilege? Real privilege is wearing $200 sneakers when you haven't worked a day in your life. Privilege is walking around with $300 Beats headphones while you're living on food stamps, while you're on public assistance, and it's paid for by people who wake up and grind every day. Privilege is having the latest smartphone with unlimited data and having zero idea where the bill goes because somebody else is always picking up the tab. Privilege is being able to protest every little thing that offends you without worrying about calling in sick to work because you don't have a job. Privilege is being able to cheat, lie, fail over and over again in life and still get bailed out while people who play by the rules get punished. That's privilege. This isn't about race. This isn't about class. This is about accountability. We've got a culture that rewards victimhood and demonizes work ethic and responsibility. Meanwhile, the people holding everything together for the rest of society, they get taxed into the ground. Their businesses get choked by regulation, and they get personally vilified for speaking up and saying that this is full. You want to talk about privilege? Then start with the people who've never paid the price, but who also scream the loudest. Because they've never had to build anything. They've never had to defend anything. They've never had to carry any real weight. And the reason they get away with it? It's because we don't live in a society of strong men anymore. No. That's been dismantled on purpose over the last 50 years. Because a society of strong men would never put up with any of this bull. And that's exactly why they came after us first.
And he is so deadly accurate, yo. Y'all been sending me videos of people that have been hitting on every single point. And let's just be absolutely clear. And the reason why they have to talk like this, and when I say they, I'm talking about white people that are disgusted at what the cultural norms are, and black people basically complaining. And I don't even think it's black people, of course. I think it's black culture. And there's a certain demographic of people, of black people, that are the loudest. They complain the most. Every single thing is racism. They've never experienced racism. They've never employed nobody. They've never actually went and did the things that would make you a productive member of society. They always talk about tax the rich. And then let's throw in the white apologists on top of that. You know, I was watching and then I reviewed a video of a black woman that was going off on a black guy that was working at Walmart. And the white woman at the end, if you watched it all the way to the end, was apologizing to the woman. And she wasn't even familiar with the fact that the woman had basically offended and threw off and was trying to fight the guy that was just doing his job at Walmart. And so every last one of these people are easily offended, but never take any accountability for the role that they play in their lives. And we can see this. We can see it with the Carnival cruises. We see it with all of the protesting. And it's funny because I've always been more curious because you'll never find a shortage of people that are easily offended jumping on these applications and saying what they want to say. And I think that that was also one of the benefits of Elon Musk buying X, formerly known as Twitter, for us to remove censorship and for us to actually allow for people to say what they want to say when they want to say it. And I may not necessarily agree with every single.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and that is all I got for you guys in this particular video. So I just don't know what to say. I'm speechless as at this point, because I know that one of the things that has been limiting a lot of people is because these said white people do not want to give a lot of black people opportunity to be able to excel out there. So when some sets of black people can actually come out and own it up to their chest, I really do not know what they want to achieve at this. I don't know if they want to just paint it out there so that the white community can actually support them, or so that the white community can actually come back and tell them, oh, you guys are doing a great job. I don't know. But for me personally, I will not totally agree with what they say, saying that white people are not the problem. If white people are not the problem, give us reparation. Even to that guy that said he did not believe in reparation, blah, 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 stuff like that. I just think he just wanted to say what he wants or what he knows how to say best. But as far as I'm concerned, reparation should be given. AI has confirmed it. ChatGPT has confirmed it. Okay, if you're saying reparation should not be given to black people because you don't think that black people are the problem or black people sold black people, why were their enslavers given reparation? Why were they giving reparation? So why is it that it is now that it's coming to the black community that it is no longer a food for thought? You know, those are the kind of videos that these white people actually see, and they don't even care to talk about reparation, because if the black community are opening their mouths by themselves to say, oh, do not give reparation, I don't see any reason for reparation, everybody were enslaved, the white British were also enslaved, enslavers were compensated, enslavers were given reparation, enslavers were given things for taking their slaves back away from them. So why won't they be given reparation? Why? That's the question I want you all to answer me in the comment section, because I know that every single person will still not agree with what I'm saying, right? But that's just my own kind of thoughts. If the person that actually enslaved me is being compensated, what stops you from compensating me, since you are saying that every single person has been enslaved before? It's none of my business. I should get what is my own and let me move on with my life. So that boils down to every single thing of white people are still the problem as far as I'm concerned, because if they are not the problem and they know that everything should be treated equally, everyone should be treated nicely, settle me and let me go my way. We will not have any issue. We will not even be having this conversation coming over and over again. Yes, on the black community end, I know that every single person are not perfect. They still have one or their two flaws that is actually limiting a lot of things coming to their way. But in general, slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, and so on and so forth, nobody should tell me that white people are not the problem. Right from the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffered violence, and only the violent take it by force. It simply means right from the days of black people, white people have actually been using us from generation to generation, and even up till these days, trying to make the old slavery method looking more polished these days. But it doesn't mean that they are still not the problem as far as I'm concerned. But who am I? I stand a chance to be corrected. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is not for violence. We do not support any form of violence. Your credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. But let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Do you think that white people are not the problem? Do you think that black people are the problem? If you think so, why do you think that black people are actually the problem? Do you think that black people do not deserve reparation, or they do deserve reparation? I just want to get all of your thoughts in the comment section so that I will also learn from it. And the more I see that, oh, they don't deserve it, and I remove my mind, I say, okay, fine, they don't deserve it, right? Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Share. And yes, with no further ado, I'm going to be Simba, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Do not touch to die. Come back for more. And I love you guys.